sense and decided that he can do something to help the situation that we're all living through with these coronaviruses. Let's welcome Jody Avalon. Good day, young man.
How are you doing, Maria? Calimera.
Calimera, Jody, you fabulous, passionate man.
Oh, awesome.
So is it Avalon?
Well, people call me Eager. I even get Avellini sometimes. People think I'm Italian, but it's Aveline or Aveline. Like the hazelnut in French.
OK. Mais tu parles français?
Bien sûr, et j'espère qu'on peut parler en franglais during this interview.
Écoute, it's the story of my life.
There you go.
Using
One of the reasons why I love you so much.
Oh, Jody, I fell in love with you when I heard your story because I did catch one of your interviews. First of all, tell me, what, you just woke up one morning and said, I'm going to do this?
Well, after lockdown ended, like I've explained before, everybody was like a hermit for a while, the first lockdown. And then we came out and we started doing grocery shopping and getting back to confinement life and whatnot, but opened a little bit. And I started to see the masks everywhere and gloves everywhere. And, I had this kind of civic sense of duty to start something, Nothing was going on.
Civic sense of duty. Young man. No, young man. I don't even hear that from seasoned politicians. I'm impressed.
You got to lead by example, Mary. Not by words, example.
So and how did you decide? I mean, what do you pick them up with? What kind of instruments did you decide to gather for this?
Well, I was using a small stick, and the stick that I made had it was about 1.5 feet, 2 foot long, and I had put a bottle that I had cut in half, a plastic bottle, to use as a guard, so that the mask or the glove doesn't come into contact with my hand should the wind blow it up or whatnot. And then I, evolved to putting a nail on the end, extending the stick to about 1 meter's distance, and making, putting on a larger bottle, like a 2-liter 7-Up bottle cut in half and then taped, so that there is no possible way of it touching my hand. And I started doing research, and people are doing this elsewhere in the world. There was a gentleman, a Brit and a Frenchman, that went from Marseille to Paris. I just read about them about a month and a half ago, and they were doing it freehand. So I applaud them,
Wow. No, listen, that there's people around the world, man, in different countries that have a sense of civic duty is probably the most positive thing that we've had to deal with lately, Jody. So, I mean, it's music to our ears.
I think so, too.
So tell me, how did you start geographically? How did you decide or do you only work one area of the city?
Well, I collect bottles and cans. I run a social enterprise, so I was, slowly opening up, and I had so many people calling me just here in Verdun, so I kind of focused in Verdun, and every time I would go out to do a pickup or whatnot of a business or a person's house or whatnot, I pick up the mask along the way, and then I started to, further open up my as business slowed down, open up, to St. Henry, Griffintown, LaSalle, Villamar, and I kept on going out. I collected all over the city before plastic, bottles and cans, but I had, with the lockdown, I kind of stayed in Verdun, and then over the months expanded out, and, I try to do as much as I can.
Any surprises in your when you were collecting these discarded items?
A couple things. One thing in particular that really, in the beginning, really, touched my heart, Mary, is I noticed different areas that I would find these masks and these gloves, And one day I was collecting near, an elementary school, daycare, kind of like half-half thing here in Verdun. And I went to go pick up a mask, on my side of the fence. And there was a small child, I would say about 4 or 5 years old, reaching through the fence, trying to grab at the mask. And it just, shocked me, Then I heard other stories, Mary. I'm in contact with a lot of grocery stores and dépanneurs and whatnot. And I've been told a few times that people less fortunate, for example, street people or whatnot, were putting on masks that they found in front of the store on the street that wasn't theirs to go in the store and buy alcohol. So when I heard that, it kind of shocked me too. And I just, everything I hear and everything I read just fuels the fire. We need to do more. The city came out with all kinds of, information campaigns, keep your distance, porter un face covering, toucher dans votre cou et tout ça. Wash your hands, fais pas des bisous, don't shake people's hands, don't, kiss them on the cheek. They did all these campaigns. Why didn't they include, hey, properly dispose of your face masks and gloves?
Yeah, you know what? Someone told me, you're perfectly right. You raise a good point. Someone told me that most of the masks, or that's what they believed anyway, he said, I don't want to believe that people literally throw them on the ground. He believed that, when we come out of somewhere, we shove them in our pocket, then we go to get our keys, the mask falls out. So let's hope it's not people literally throwing them themselves.
Well, Mary, you know what? I want to add to that. When I first started thinking about it, I was kind of flabbergasted, and I said, why? How could people be so self-centered and egotistical and unthoughtfully reckless to do such a thing, right? Throw your mask. And then I came and I started to think what you're saying, too. Perhaps it's that. And then, kind of like the zeitgeist hit me, and I said, maybe these people are just innocent and ignorant. They don't know that the masks are made out of polypropylene. They think that they're made out of paper or out of fabric or out of cotton or some tissue or whatnot. And then I read a little bit online, and I really think that's the case. I read recently an article about animals, dogs. Okay, dogs. Someone sent me some information about dogs eating masks or chewing on masks, and the being sent to the vet and huge bills and removal of the mask and the dog and the strip of the metal and whatnot. But just to finish with that, I noticed that in the article, the woman that was writing the article said paper and tissue, and it's not paper and tissue. It's plastic.
It is?
It's polypropylene. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
There's one layer, and unfortunately what's happening now is with the snow, Mary, the snow is being pushed with our plows, and then they come with that huge snow blower, and, they pick up the snow, and it's like a big blender, you know what I mean? So the masks are all being chopped up into little pieces, and where do you think that's going to end up? It's going to end up in our rivers, which ultimately ends up in the ocean.
Oh,
we have a flood just down the street here from where I am. It's really sad.
Oh, man. All right. First, another question came in for you. Where do you put them? When you collect them, I assume you fill a plastic bag. What do you do with them after?
Après ça, I come home et, je prends des ciseaux, un razor blade, and I cut these strings off because a lot of our wildlife are getting strangled and whatnot, by the elastic cords. So, je mets dans un gros sac, j'ai mis chez moi, et après ça, je coupe les cordes. And then I properly dispose of them, Our city needs bins. We don't have it. Other cities are doing it. They're putting dispensaries out there, locked dispensaries, where people can properly dispose of their PPE. Our hospitals, clinics, they burn that stuff.
Wow, man. No, but first of all, I got to tell you, Jody, you just floored me, young man. What you're doing goes above and beyond civic duty.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I've always been involved, Mary, with environmental stuff. There are other organizations, that I've been involved with volunteering, Mission Santan, Sea Shepherds,
you're like the caretakers of our planet. The unknown, the ones with no, official titles because they're not with any companies at big salaries. But you guys, man, and women like you are out there doing the real thing. I mean, what a great example. What a gift you just gave us all, Jody.
No, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Imagine, I started this, officially my Facebook group there, Mission PPE, Educate, Cut, and Discard. Collective Cut and Discard, and other groups are forming now around the city, and one was in Villeray, Operation Mass Militia.
Okay, but give us yours. Give the audience where they can interact with you right now.
Well, two things then, Mary. I thank you very much for having me say that because I always forget about my petition, so I'm going to come back to that. On Facebook, if people are on Facebook, they can go to Mission PPE. PPE stands for Personal Protective Equipment. I'm going to work on that and change the name EDI also, EPI, excuse me, in French, Equipment Protection Individuelle. But that's on Facebook. So Mission PPE, Educate, Collect, Cut, and Discard. And on the petition, if they just go on change.org, or if they go on Mission, PPE there, or on my Facebook, the petition is there. It's posted there. They can sign that petition. Recently, I got a wonderful gentleman to join the group. I asked him, if he was interested. Boom, he joined the group. He's from oceansasia.org. There was a recent article that they put out about 100, I think it was CTV News, 150-something billion masks are possibly going to enter the ocean.
Oh, my God.
Billion. We're producing 139 billion masks per month and 65 billion gloves per month. That comes out to, I believe, 95. In another article, I read 95 million per week.
Okay, but Jody, can they not be recycled?
Well, Quebec, first of all, and I don't want to, start barking down the wrong tree here and have everybody hate me, but Quebec needs to be, invest in more, green technology. They can be recycled. I don't want to say any names of any, companies out there that are doing it, because I'm not sure that they're real. I'm not, right now I've been investigating. I've reached out to one in particular, the Canadian office and the office in New Jersey, and I've got no reply. But, essentially, yeah, everything can be recycled. And it's just, what we're doing right now is just another waste of an untapped resource.
So we need those bins. The best solution right now that I heard during our exchange is that you've asked the city and Valérie Plante to please. And I'm surprised they didn't come up with this on their own, man. I mean, you want us to wear masks and gloves, but what do you want us to do with them when we want to discard them?
That's it, and people are in fear, right? So they go in a store, and I was like that in the beginning too. I came home, we had a full, lockdown. Me and my girlfriend Geraldine. She'd come in from the grocery store. We'd have a bag in the vestibule. All her clothes would go in there. She'd jump in the shower. I'd run down and throw it in the washing machine. People fear. So there's also that aspect of it. They get out of the grocery store. A lot of people are older. And this affects primarily a lot of older people, right? Or people that have ailments. So, I understand that they want to get rid of it as soon as possible because there's the potential contamination. But it's just kind of slippery slope, right? Because that contamination now is on our sidewalks and our streets. And this is a new virus, Mary. So we don't know. We don't know come spring when everything defrosts. What's going to happen with those masks and gloves.
That's right. If they get activated again, oh boy.
Geez, we'd be up, I won't say the expression, but the creek.
Jody, do you mind if we hook up with you again, maybe next month, to see where you're at and what's happening?
By all means, please, yeah. And so far, I just wanted to say one last thing. The last few days after the first, the second, and the third, we had that snow. And, here I am going out picking up 250 masks and gloves, a day. And all of a sudden, there was the second and the third. I went down to one glove and one mask. And they're still out there. It's just that they're being covered up with the snow. So please, people, think,
You know what, Jody?
And yeah, sure, you can contact me anytime you want, Mary. I love you.
That's because you haven't listened to me long enough, son. Okay. Okay, listen, a shout out to you and anybody like you who just decides on their own that it is part of our civic duty and we need to jump in there and help. You were doing this way before any interviews or accolades or applause. You're just one of those perfect examples that I like to give my listeners.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. And just to conclude, I'm going through some times also like everybody else, and I usually give a lot. And the other day I posted on a group called, Montreal, Helping Montrealers, that I needed a jacket because my zipper broke and I could use some snow pants because I've sewed them 100 times. And a wonderful woman from Beaconsfield, she wants to remain anonymous. She went out and bought me a brand new coat and a brand new, pair of snow pants. So that only helps the cause. I'm not asking for anything else. I don't need anything else. But there are a lot of, good good people out there here in Montreal, and a lot of good people that are in the movement, picking up masks and gloves, just like me.
And
Thank you, though.
Jody, you're helping those good people shine.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And
You're
just think about
you're
it
a
once
good
again.
man.
One
Listen,
person.
listen,
the power
dude.
of one person. Imagine 150.
No. You know what? The word good is exactly what you are, and I'll tell you why. You just told us a story. You were doing this, and you didn't have pants or a coat, man. Your coat was ripped, and there's Montrealers who came to that rescue for you, and it's just what we need to hear, Jody. We need to hear that story, son. I'm so glad you're on air today. We need to hear that people still care and that we still react to help each other.
People do, and they're out there. And you know what? A lot of people are realizing that we're in, dire times, fraught times, full of, fear and whatnot.
Yeah. So, Jody, listen, as soon as you need a new pair of boots, you let us know, and Mike FM will add the boots to the suit, okay?
That's super sweet of you, Mary. I love you. You guys have a wonderful day, and happy belated New Year to everyone listening.
Likewise, young man. Likewise. Keep making a difference. You are the example of good humanity.
Thank you, and I shall. You just gave me another Energizer boot.
Thank you, Jody Aveline. Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Bonne journée tout le monde.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Mary.
105.1